we've seen incredible changes in terms of women moving into leadership roles in the United States, I would say in the last 50 years. And I've witnessed that in my lifetime, and we now have millions of highly educated, professionally seasoned women with ganas who are ready to move into top leadership roles. So what's happening in the US is now they're ready. The middle keeps getting bigger and bigger. And so really the next frontier for women in the United States is to move into the top, because men still hold 80% of the leadership roles in every single professional sector in the United States, and including in politics, in business, everywhere. So that's the next frontier for women. But I know we are right on the verge of tremendous change because the women are ready. Well, I see that women who have mastered the foundation, that they're already high achievers, and they believe they are leadership material. They hear the call to leadership. I see that there are 7 specific steps or practices that are kind of like the graduate work. And so they are, number 1, discover your purpose. That's your passion. Discover your purpose. Number 2, raise your voice. That's about communication skills and speaking up and doing media interviews and raising your voice even if you are the only woman in the room. Number 3, break the rules. Break the rules. You have to learn the rules of the game in order to be a high achiever. But a leader does not simply just sit there with the status quo. Then you have to break the rules. Number 4, claim power. Women are taught from being very little girls to wait to be invited to the dance. And I tell women, you can't wait to be invited to the leadership dance. You have to raise your hand. You have to say, I want that job. I can do that job. You have to go after it. That's claiming power. Number 5, drink at dangerous waters. That's about getting out of your comfort zone, taking risks, becoming culturally multilingual, to be able to work effectively with people who are different than you, who don't look like you, different generations, different genders, different cultures. Drink at dangerous waters. Number 6, get back in the saddle. That's about failure. Get back in the saddle. You have to fail. You know, if you haven't failed, and I mean really failed, you have not really tested your limits yet. And so therefore, the question is not if you've never failed. The question is, how fast do you get back up, dust yourself off, get back in the saddle, and charge right back into the fray? And the last one is really the only one that's specific and unique to women. And it's a word I made up. It's womaninity. And it's a parallel word to masculinity, because femininity is really about our softer side. But womaninity is about a woman leading as a woman. And having the confidence not to have to act like a man. We can't lead the same way men do. But to have the confidence that we bring unique strengths of our gender to leadership. And those are my 7. I have been a television journalist for 15 years, so 10 years doing TV news in the United States, and then the opportunity I was one of the first women in the United States to cover sports on television. And I'm the daughter of a sports broadcaster, so that helped, that I had a great father who could mentor me. But also, it was a very important step in our culture, because women were not allowed to cover sports, because the way you cover sports is you have to go into the locker rooms after the games. And so for me to cover sports, or a woman to cover sports, meant going into the locker rooms where the men are changing. Sometimes they're nude if they want to be. They don't have to be. It's their choice. And so it was a very time of important cultural change. But we fought for those opportunities, and our culture got used to it, and now there are about 1,500 women in the United States actively covering all the major sports, and that's a very important part of culture. Sports is a very important part of culture, and women are certainly sports fans. We spend a lot of money on sports, and now we're playing sports. So for women to be covering sports was very important in cultural development. Well, I see the world, we are a human family, and women are 50% of the world, and men and women balance one another. We're not the same. We think differently, we move through the world very differently, and so for the human family to achieve its full potential and to be operating at its higher level, just like a regular family, you need the strengths of both men and women. And right now, because women, for nearly all of history, for centuries, half of the human race was refused access to leadership roles anywhere, in terms of business, in terms of the military, in terms of politics and making decisions. We're kind of like a family with only the fathers, the wisdom of only fathers, and that's not enough. We need the wisdom of the mothers of our whole world at the table, changing those conversations, because we know that when women are equally represented in decision making, the conversations are different. The conversations are different, the decisions are different, the priorities are different. And we need the mothers of the world at the table helping to lift the human family.